Hello, my audience. I am reviewing the first 2000s X-Men movie, starring Hugh Jackman, playing Wolverine in the first X-Men movie. I give this movie the 8 out of 10 approval score rating. I give it an 8 out of 10. It's good and all, but it felt a little short. It felt like one of those movies that could have benefited from a director's cut but never got released. The whole movie felt like it was is what it kind of feels like a movie. The first X-Men movie problem I had with it is why I give it 8 out of 10. I love the visuals. I love the cosmetic design, reimagining costume aesthetic changes for the villains and also the heroes on the X-Men lore within the movie, that the movie brings to life characters from the comics, but with completely different makeovers that's never been seen before like this, before Fox showed them like this. So yeah, even the Ultimate Universe X-Men version of the X-Men from the Ultimate Universe that launched in 2000 was Ultimate Spider-Man. That run on X-Men was inspired by this X-Men movie right here, the one I'm talking about. So if we might have not even gotten the ultimate reimagining of X-Men like it was, if it wasn't for this movie that Bryan Singer, I think his name is, that directed this first 2 X-Men movies made. Well, I would have preferred the original, one of the costume designs that they used for the comics, instead of them reimagining the costumes. Characters. I'd rather them just use the character designs from the comics for the villains and heroes instead of reimagining. Personally, that's just my little nitpick on it. But for original, it does a good job for the original take on these characters, and they feel like fresh and new, but somehow feel similar to the counterparts we know and love from before with the X-Men. Especially Charles and Wolverine. And Magneto Mystique, too. I like Toad in this movie. It's weird because Toad was cool in this movie. He was kind of a comic relief character. It was still kind of cool to see in action. See his mutant powers be effective for the X-Men, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, it took the Mighty Storm to take Toad down. She gets this kind of a cool one-liner. I mean, I thought it was a cool one-liner, but I guess other people thought that was cringe. Same thing that happens to everything else was delivered as, is the line delivered as that, like when Toad gets struck by lightning, blah 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 blah. I mean, I thought it was cool monologuing, hero monologuing and one-lining, but other people thought it was shit. Personally, I thought it was better, like one-liners than what James Gunn has with his new Superman reboot. When Superman says, "Eyes up here, ugly," or "ugly up here," he says. And this is stupid. Yeah, I need that. That's just not as cool as like a. This doesn't sound like an original thing to say. It like Simon picks the most generic thing ever. One-liner. In the James and Superman trailer, you know? I'm not thinking that shit. I think it looks like shit. Especially the action shots with Superman in flying mode. It just makes me feel disoriented. Looking him how he's humping the camera. Too fucking close up. Why the gun thing was a good idea to shoot it like that? This is the stuff in Nightmare. That's how he shot it. Anyway. Sorry, I went on a bit of a rant there. Off point of the review. So 2000's X-Men movie, I think it could have benefited from a director's cut because it felt a little short of a movie. The movie put together in its final form, I feel like I always feel like could have benefited from a director's cut if it was longer, a movie, to make the pacings more smoother. That's just what I think. So I think that's why I can't really give it a 10 out of 10. But why I'm giving it 8 out of 10. As in, it's a flaw, good movie of a comic book movie. The first 2000 X-Men movie. Personally, I think I like the first one more than X-Men 2 United. Because I think X-Men 1 had a better balance on the dynamic with the characters. And having them interact more consistently than in the movie. No, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of because in X-Men 2 United tells more of a, leans more towards Wolverine's story. 100% leans into his backstory in the X-Men 2 United movie. So that's why Wolverine and the X-Men are not together in the movie. Because he's mostly uncovering the past mysteries of his past that he forgot about. And how he got the claws and why he can't remember shit and stuff. And shit like that. Being part of the program called Weapon X. By General Stryker. The problem is that while that movie, I think this X-Men 2, I'm going to review X-Men 2 now. My problem with X-Men 2 United is that it's a Wolverine movie spin-off. 100% feels like at this point when it gets to X-Men 2 United. Like, X-Men 1 felt like it was a X-Men movie, but just had a focus from Wolverine's point, but told from Wolverine's point of view. After Rogue runs into him in the bar, runs away from home because she finds out she's a mutant and puts her boyfriend into a coma in the opening scene of the movie, and afraid of hurting people, so or don't fight behind it and stuff. So she hitchhikes a ride with Logan, who finds out is also a mutant. So that's why I like X-Men 1 more than X-Men 2 United. And why I think it's a better X-Men movie. I just feel like, if you're going to make a movie titled X-Men and market it as the X-Men team in the title, you should make it be about the X-Men. And the one that came close in the original trilogy is and did it best was the first one. Next to X-Men Last Stand. Or X-Men 2. Well, yeah, X-Men Last Stand, actually, I meant. The thing is, it's not that X-Men Last Stand is a better movie than X-Men 2, I think. Personally, I like X-Men 2 more than X-Men Last Stand. But I also like X-Men 1 more than X-Men 2. And that's why I'm talking about the X-Men 2 United. And why I'm giving it 8 out of 10 is because it's just a Wolverine movie that's marketed in the main title that's falsely named X-Men movie when it should be named Wolverine the movie. Or Wolverine in the X-Men. I know it would be kind of a low. Wolverine Weapon X. Or, yeah, maybe Wolverine Weapon X. Because Wolverine Weapon X would work. Because it tells a story about Weapon X program and explains the whole thing and very well. Believes enough vague, but revealed. Not because it doesn't reveal too much, because it still has. So it reveals enough that this stuff, reveal enough that lots of shit went down on the Weapon X program that Wolverine was part of. They got experimented on, and he wasn't the one that they experimented on, like Wolverine. And then Lady Deathstrike is being brain controlled by, this universe version of Lady Deathstrike. She's not talked, and she doesn't have a mind of her own in this movie, because her actions are not her own, because she's being manipulated, she's being brainwashed and controlled by General Stryker with this little device, little device chemical they use to brainwash and control mutants, and like his son, and also like just Deathstrike too, and also his son is a mutant that he uses to manipulate Charles Xavier after kidnapping Charles. Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart. I think that actor's name is. He's Patrick something. I think. And, I give X-Men 2 United from 2003 sequel. That's the one with Nightcrawler. And it's unclear if he joined the X-Men or not by the end of this movie. It's like, he still meets up with them at the White House, but I'm not really sure if he's like the X-Men. It's not really clear. Never like made it clear if he joined the X-Men or not. And I guess he didn't because the movie sequels after X2 United never mention or show him again. That version of Nightcrawler by Fox, played by that actor, it doesn't come back ever again. Sad, because he's a pretty cool version of Nightcrawler. Nice reimagining of Nightcrawler I liked. I did get the design. So, yeah, I give X-Men, the first two X-Men movies a 8 out of 10. X-Men and X-Men 2 United. And I am going now to talk about X-Men 3: The Last Stand, the third final entrance one in the original franchise X-Men run, where it originally ended before it made X-Men Wolverine and Origins and First Class. And then brought the universes together with Days of Future Past. Yeah, so I agree, this one's, I agree with some. I mean, I hate this X-Men movie, although I don't like everything this movie does, like the fact that it kills off Cyclops, team leader of the X-Men. I mean, it made me sad they killed him off, but I didn't like they killed him off so early on in the movie. Because the first two X-Men movies didn't do a whole lot with giving depth into his character like the third one does, and making him a tortured, damaged character by the loss of Jean Grey and kind of depressed. And missing Jean and stuff. And kind of not really being a responsible leader. Explained in the movie for a brief moment. Before he gets killed off. Yeah, lots of stuff making this. Lots of effort went to try and make I feel like there was a lot more writing into trying to make Cyclops interesting and more relatable character than the first two ones. But then it has Somewhere Nowhere, and I hear that the reason why he gets killed off because that was a reshot of originally Cyclops wasn't going to get killed off in the movie. He was supposed to be in the movie more. I wonder what a movie like what that movie would have been like if we saw that version of the movie. And the reason why he wasn't in the movie more because he had a schedule with the Superman Returns movie dedication to schedule. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Was it worth it to the actors that played Cyclops to screwing up the fans' expectation for X-Men and for Superman? Was it worth throwing away his career? I wonder. To destroy all of the comic book expectation of the fan base. And just destroy all the expectations. Because his character in Superman Returns was not a highlight of the movie, or a really important part of the movie. Oh, yeah. It was a side character that he was in Superman Returns. And yes, he was Lois Lane's husband. In this content of Superman Returns. Cyclops will play that role. Small role in Superman Returns. Ironically, the Charles Xavier's death with the Phoenix killing Charles off, that didn't bother me at all because it didn't felt like stupid. It felt like clever for saving that for the end, for the off tipping point, for the reason because that's like saved like that's like saved like late in the film, and it just didn't feel like out of nowhere, like or stupid or necessary compared to Cyclops' deaths, with Jean Grey killing Cyclops, and yeah, it was pretty. It's just like was like one of those things I didn't feel like the movie could benefit more if Cyclops was a main was one of the main characters of this movie instead of just Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. And taking on the leader position in the third act. And giving orders and telling him giving them a pep talk and working together as a team with the X-Men. And taking Cyclops' position as team leader. I don't have to like that. And I don't. So, I give the X-Men movie 3 Last Stand 8 out of 10. Because I did like the reimagining of the Juggernaut, and I did like what they did with the Juggernaut, like with the fights, and also like the fact that Juggernaut literally cannot be stopped unless Kitty Pryde outsmashed the Juggernaut and basically kills Juggernaut, like when he's around this kid that depowers him. He tries to run at Kitty Pryde, and he runs at the wall, and he's just unconscious. And after that, I was going to give him. I bet I was going to give him a headache or a concussion, probably. But it looked like it hurt when he hit with the wall, because he got depowered by being around this mutant child that takes away mutants' powers and mutant factors from the abilities. And I like the chase with Kitty Pryde and the Juggernaut scene, and I like the fight where Wolverine is giving orders to the X-Men and working with the X-Men, and we see some of the best Wolverine combat action in this movie than any other X-Men movie from the first two ones, and compared to the first two ones. The X-Men action with Wolverine got a lot more cinematic and more frequent with Wolverine and this movie of Wolverine with the X-Men. It got more cinematic shots with Wolverine doing Wolverine action, like taking out Sentinels, and we finally see the Fox version of the training room that we saw that we seen in the comics. We've seen that classic X-Men the MA series and X-Men Evolution and other X-Men media, but never in the Fox universe before X-Men 3. And Colossus is no longer a student. He's finally an X-Men member on Team X-Men in this movie. Remember that Colossus was originally a student and now going on field missions with the X-Men? Now he is. He's going to train. It's like we get to see some at Colossus in this movie in action, and we got to see Iceman in action, and we got to see Beast in action, Storm in action, and also with some action scenes shot of Storm and Beast on the battlefield. Here we got see some pretty cool cinematic action with the bad guy Magneto and the Phoenix, Jean Grey, in this movie, Last Stand, the third X-Men movie. Lots of cool reimagining ideas with this movie. I think I want to give X-Men Last Stand a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give X-Men Last Stand a 10 out of 10, and X-Men 2 United and X-Men 1 a 8 out of 10. The reason why I have to give X-Men Last Stand a 10 out of 10, because sorry, because unlike not like X-Men 1 and 2 with Hugh Jackman, it's not trying to be really it's not trying to focus as much on character development as the previous X-Men movies were. It's more focused on spectacle and showing one scene, showing one next action spectacle next after the next action spectacle is what was more focused on. It was more like a dumb, treating more like a fast, dumb action flick, pace-like. With the Fox version of the X-Men. And that's why I give the Fox X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men 3, known as, from 2006, the sequel to United, and a 10 out of 10. I give this X-Men Last Stand a 10 out of 10. And that's my review on the original trilogy with Hugh Jackman's X-Men run. The original 3 Hugh Jackman X-Men movies with Hugh Jackman. 3 of them. X-Men to X-Men United to X-Men The Last Stand. Anyway, that's my review on X-Men Trilogy with Hugh Jackman, X-Men, Fox Studios X-Men Run Trilogy by Fox. Started with Brian Singer that directed the first 2 ones, and a different director took over the 3rd one. I feel like X-Men 2 and 1 could have benefited from a director's cut. Because both X-Men movies... You know what? I take that back. Just the first one could have benefited from a director's cut. And I think I was going to give the X-Men 2 United a 8 out of 10 because I guess this is hurting me how it kind of false advertised what the movie was about. I thought it was going to be about the Team X-Men, but it was about Wolverine. Specifically, a story Wolverine story. Brought to life for the first time. And I guess it was awesome. It pulled it off everything perfectly fine. Given that it was PG-13 rated and not R-rated. Like, it wasn't the best Wolverine we could have gotten for the time if it was R-rated. It could have been better. I'm saying if it was the best it could be for the limits it had for the rating. It was PG-13 of a Wolverine story. I give it a 10 out of 10. It was the best PG-13 Wolverine movie next to the... And that's the best... To me, that's the best PG-13 Wolverine movie, including the Wolverine from 2013. That sets up Days of Future Past at the end. Events. By showing Charles is alive and he reveals himself alive to... Logan, and oh, I forgot to tell you something. Back on X-Men 3, if you stay after the end credits of X-Men 3, you'll find out that Charles is alive. And you'll hear his voice saying hello to a nurse, and she says, "Charles." So, yeah, he somehow resurrected himself. Somehow. And the events of X-Men 3 doesn't explain what he did. And it's never explained how he resurrected himself. But, it's revealed on the events of X-Men 3 Last Stand. After the... is a scene that's after the end credits. You have to watch. You have to wait till after the end credits to watch that scene to figure it out and see that happen. So we finally see that payoff with the Wolverine of seeing Charles come back and reunite with the Wolverine and reunite with X-Men and Days of Future Past. By Days of Future Past comes. Somehow this makes entire sense to me. The law of the X-Men that Fox made. It makes sense, everything. I think the story of their universe. And, so yeah, I give X-Men 2 United a 10 out of 10. And X-Men 1 a 8 out of 10 because it could benefit from a director's cut. And I give X-Men The Last Stand a 10 out of 10. And I give the Wolverine from 2013 movie, including the extended R-rated cut with a dash of blood version, the R-rated cut and the PG-13 cut I've seen of the Wolverine from 2013 flick. I'm giving that a 10 out of 10. Because it was a great action popcorn flick of Wolverine. And I enjoyed the story, the cool story was Silver Samurai, and reimagining the Silver Samurai from the comics, and the reimagining the missiles with Silver Samurai, from what we know from Silver Samurai the comics and stuff, and they changed the mythology from Silver Samurai for Fox Universe. That didn't bother me. Actually, that was cool, and I liked how the samurai looked. The Silver Samurai armor looked cool, and I liked how it was actually armor, a guy in a metal suit, armor suit. But like exoskeleton armor he was in. So that was cool. Reimagining of the Silver Samurai, and I like how he was the final boss and the main villain behind everything, and why Wolverine can't heal like he used to in the movie, majority of the movie, before he actually has to take this little like leech out, this robot leech that's leeching onto his heart, around his heart, and basically basically causing was preventing him from healing like he used to. So he just rips out rips it out. Rips the thing leech out, you know, and without like ripping his own heart out, you know, but and so it worked, and now he's healing again, and that was pretty cool action, a very cool shot. I was seeing that. All the visuals I thought were pretty cool and hold up well. I thought the visuals in each Wolverine movie, the movie called the Wolverine and the X-Men trilogy that I talked about in this video, all the visuals I thought hold up really well to this day, to the eye, to me. A lot better than other visuals we see in traditional comic book movies now these days, from either DC or from Marvel. Since the Snyderverse got canceled, and since Marvel has like losing their budget, looks like that on each movie, since after Phase 1 was over, wrapped up with the first 2012 Avengers, like they look like they were getting cheaper and cheaper with the CGI, and its guess looks more phony, like shit, you know, for each one. As it gets worse down the line, you know, it gets worse. Visually looking. Where's their products? Where's the MCU products and the DC products? It's like the Fantastic Four movie doesn't look as good as 2005's visual effects. Not even close. In the Superman movie, it doesn't look as close as the visual effects from Superman Returns or Man of Steel visual effects, or even the first Christopher Reeve's Superman visual effects. The first 3 movies had better visual effects that were more convincing to me than this new Superman movie that James Gunn made and directed. And it has some writing involved. That scares me. It makes me worry. It's more reason why I don't want to see that movie. Why I'm boycotting that movie. Superman James Gunn movie. And also, Crypto sucks. If he dies, that would make me the happiest fanboy in the world as a Superman fan. The movie brutally kills off Crypto, the super dog, for James Gunn's reimagining of Superman. That would be funny. I would just laugh if the Superman fans were just crying over Crypto's dead. That would be funny if the Superman fans were just crying over Crypto's dead. Like, can you imagine some Superman fans like A-Grade Joe crying on the internet like Crypto died in this movie? Fuck Crypto, he sucks. He sucks more than Scrappy-Doo. From Scooby-Doo. That's how much I hate Crypto. Let him die. Is it wrong I'm kind of rooting for the villain to win in this new Superman movie Lex Luthor when I should be rooting against and for Superman to come out on top and expecting Superman to come out on top when I'm expecting the villain to come out on top and Superman to lose everything and to lose all hope in humanity, and for expecting me to root for the villain. I feel like I want to root for the villain, like Luthor in the new Superman movie, because I hate this Superman movie so. With this version of Superman so, with this actor. He's kind of a whiny Clark and Superman. When he's not in action and getting dialogue, he's a little... his voice cracks sometimes. Like, his voice cracks like a whiny crack makes sound. When he says, I'm busy. I'm doing important stuff, he says. And there's something like that in Trilogy. Now, it sounds like he's whining or trying to fight back his tears. Or when he says, people were going to die, Lois. It sounds like he's trying to fight back his tears of crying his eyes out because he's not being listened to by his bitch-ass girlfriend, Lois Lane. And this new Superman movie, Lois Lane's a total fucking bitch. And kind of an annoying prick of a character. I expect she's going to be one of those comedic relief characters. Lois Lane. You know, intentionally. More comedic than the most. One of them more comedic reliefs. Probably could be comedic reliefs number 1 or number 2, who knows. I don't know how many comedic relief characters they're going to be in this movie. I haven't seen any footage. Except the trailers. Online. That I've seen. But all looks like shit. Cheap. Animated shit. I mean shit. Not ship. Shit. Is what I meant to say. Shit. Okay? And that's my review on Superman, James Gunn's Superman trailer. Why I give it a 1 out of 10 trailer. And why I'm boycotting that Superman movie with James Gunn, the new one called Superman. Yes. Steal from Christopher Reeves, you bastard. Instead of coming up with his original name, James Gunn, you fucking hack. I just hate when I just don't like that. I hate that title, Superman, as that's the definitive take on Superman. Christopher Reeve might be the definitive take on Superman for most people. Not for me, but I'm not going to argue with that. It's definitely one of the greatest Superman. He is the definitive one of the definitive takes on Superman. So is Tom Welling, so is Henry Cavill for me. But I just don't know which is number one. But I know it's not James Gunn. He's all the way on the bottom of the list. The bottom of the barrel. But just like cockroaches and rats, it never goes away. They just keep coming, no matter how many times you try to kill each one off. That's the magic of James Gunn's filmmaking. And writing. Creative mind. Remember, he made Scooby-Doo Flatulate. And every other Scooby-Doo movie after that, except The Curse of the Lake Monster, that's the one live-action Scooby-Doo movie that doesn't have Scooby-Doo anything gross related involving bodily functions. From the rear end. For comedic gag. Intentionally find us at this. And, that we have James Gunn to thank for creating that trend, for making that that happened in 3 live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Scooby-Doo 2 and Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins TV live-action movie, but never one gross, stupid live-action thing happened with bodily function coming out of the rear end with Scooby-Doo Curse of the Lake Monster, and that was agreed among the internet the most hated Scooby-Doo movie in live action for some reason on the internet. Why? Because people are morons and will believe anything they hear on the internet. Unless it gets their blood pressure worked up. In this case, they disagree with stuff on the internet, then it could just get their blood pressure worked up. Because people can be stupid on the internet. And the point is, James Gunn's Superman movie looks like shit. Looks like it was made by James Gunn because it is a movie made by James Gunn. And it looks cheap. Poorly directed and action is cheap. In slow motion it looks cheap. The CGI. When it's in slow motion, 100% looks fake as fuck when it's shot in slow motion. In the trailer of the Superman movie that James Gunn made. It's coming out. I'm more hyped for the Fantastic Four movie that I'm expecting to suck. I'm expecting both of them to suck, but I'm expecting Fantastic Four to be slightly more terrible. Because I have some interest in seeing Fantastic Four, I'm not going to lie. Mostly because I like how the Thing looks. The design of the Thing looks cool. Though I'm not showing the rest of the cast because the rest of the cast don't look like the cast members from the comics, really. They don't look like closer than the old characters did of the old cast. They don't look close like to the characters from the comics. They look less like the characters in the comics than the original cast did from 2005 that Fox made. But the costumes and the reimaginings, and also they don't have matching costumes. They have different versions of the costume for each character, and it's just weird. Instead of them having matching costumes like they're supposed to, in every reincarnation of their characters. They have more matching costumes when they do. The only one that doesn't always have a costume is the Thing, but he usually wears pants, just tights, pants for himself. That was his costume, but he doesn't often wear. He didn't always wear like a top, but he sometimes wore in some earlier issues of the Fantastic Four. But it's like in like Silver Surfer is not the classic Silver Surfer going west. The one was the variant from the What It's timeline from the comics, where Silver Surfer is a boy, a girl, and instead of the guy that used to seeing the Silver Surfer, that's the OG Silver Surfer. And I don't know what Galactus is going to look like, but I hope he's cool. He's better be cool. He better look like a Galactus, more the Galactus than from Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, because I'm already disappointed with the Silver Surfer himself. Because I also seen the Silver Surfer just on CGI. The Silver Surfer CGI for the Surfer on the Surfer itself, it looks not shiny silver. It looks rubbery and not shiny. And the motion looks fake. Of the pace and how she floats and floats and moves and everything. It just looks wrong. They gotta finish the CGI on that surfer. Unless, is that what's supposed to look like in the final movie? Ugh. I hope not. Anyway, I reviewed Fantastic Four trail, I realize, and that's why I give the trailer to Fantastic Four a 7 out of 10, and trailer to Superman James Gunn a 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. And the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer a 7 out of 10. I'm at least some hype for it, but my expectations are low. But I have some hype, believe. But I'm going to wait till Good World Mouse comes out on that movie. After it's been released for the Fantastic Four. And see what happens. I'm not going to go be the first one to see it. I'm not going to be that stupid. Not worse being let down. Not worse being the first person to be let down, you know? One of the first people to let down when the movie comes out. You don't want to be that person. Not interested, you know, but I'm interested in seeing the Fantastic Four movie First Steps. Want to hear what the word of mouth on in the movie when it comes out, and then I'm going to make my final decision to take a leap of faith in theater, see it itself, and see how it is. Anyway, that's my view on Fantastic Four First Steps and Superman by James Gunn trailer. Both trailers I reviewed of Marvel and DC. Anyway, that's my review on Superman, James Gunn's Superman trailer, and First Steps, Fantastic Four, Marvel's Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, and trailer to both movies, and the trilogy was X-Men and the Wolverine 2013 movie. I reviewed all that stuff, content in one video, and I just finished reviewing this stuff. So I'm going to say goodbye and ask you please hit the thumbs up to like this video. Feel free to comments below. I leave the comment section on, but I want you to subscribe if you remember to subscribe to my channel. Because you're subscribing it now to my content to grow my subscribers and like my video. Please hit the thumbs up. I really would like to get my subscribers going up more quicker someday. I think it would be nice to have like at least 90 subscribers or more someday. If I ever get that high. I don't know how well that would be though. I hope it's sooner than later than I think. You know? So please subscribe to my channel, please like the video, and goodbye, my audience. Good night. And until next time, see ya.